Right, so this is going to be about the Google Docs tabs, and where is it over here? Let me get rid of the videos I've got. Close a couple of tabs out myself in the browser, that is. In Google Docs, you've got this new tabs section. I don't like it at the moment. I was hoping for it to be, well, at least I don't like it. I was hoping for it to be a bit better. So you've got this little tab section up in the top corner over here. And yeah, you can do certain things with it. So I'm going to, for example, like you can close a tab and so forth, and you can, if you go down, you can show an outline of a tab. So, you know, fantastic, very nice. Now, the thing about this is I don't see the outline of the other tab, and if I close this and then reopen it, I do get the outline back. I wonder what happens if I do a refresh of the actual document. Have a look, it's just refreshing. Yeah, it's opened up in its closed state, and there's no way to open up in its open state, so as far as I can tell. So can anyone, if anyone has any knowledge about this, you're more than welcome to add a comment to this video. This is a live stream, so I'm just doing everything live. There isn't sort of like a way to sort of like expand. You can collapse tabs, the collapse tabs, but that just collapses this top sidebar, so it's just the same as this arrow, this collapse tabs here. Mode, this that doesn't have anything to do with it. Show equation toolbar, so there's nothing there. There is a tab section here, but that's just allowing you to add an extra tab, which you can do with a right click button. So again, not that useful. So I can't see like the entire document. I'd have to expand and expand every time I open it. So show outline, and then I'd have to go here and then do show outline somewhere. In fact, I don't even get a show outline on this, do I? On the second one. Why not? I don't know. Is it that you can only show one set of outlines? So I can do a hide outline. So we can see in this menu, add subtab, delete, duplicate, rename and so forth. So I can hide the outline. I can't show two outlines. I can move a tab and I can do other things. So there's a whole ton of videos on this, by the way. So I've gone and Googled it. Let me just get rid of this little thing over here. I've watched this 4-minute video. It's probably the best, 3-minute video. It's probably the best of the videos, but it's substandard. This video here was unhelpful. This video is unhelpful. This video is unhelpful. Tabs in Google Docs are the best things ever. Well, no, they're not so far. Or am I missing the point here? Let's have a look. Exploring tab option. I'm not going to play a video in a video because that would be not so useful, but maybe I'll do some extra view. Can't create new tabs in Google Docs. Let's have a look at that one. Open link in new folder. I'm not sure why that would be the case. I've created a new document, or rather uploaded it from my Word formatted document in the Google Drive. Well, that's probably why. If it's got a Word format, maybe it's tabs only available for Google Docs. Well, that was kind of like an obvious one, so we'll go back. That's not close that. That's Google Docs using tabs, using indents and tabs. That's going to be something else about indentation, I guess, and tabbing in. So that's got nothing to do with the tabs. Let's not confuse that. This is actually adding like document tabs rather than tabbing into something. So if I hit tab, that will like tab indentation. So two different things. So that's not talking about tabs, and Google Docs is the best thing ever. Let's see why or who said this. It's a Reddit thread. So I'm going to go and have a look at that. Google Docs just introduced tabs. We'll just zoom in a little bit here. So I'm just reading this section at the top. Google Docs just introduced tabs, and like the different sheets on sheets, and like different sheets on sheets, different slides on slides. They're a way for you to have multiple locations in the same document. This is so wonderful, and I'm so thrilled that this is here. I can take notes like never before. I can keep all my related ideas separate yet together. Okay, I'm still like, I'm not sold on this idea. Everything is wonderful and beautiful now that there are tabs in Google Docs. So how do you prepare for big meetings? Help them up. Okay. It seems like just a fancier table of contents that can link a bunch of things together. At least that's what the GIF seems to portray. Yeah, well, this is what I'm seeing. I don't know if I'm like missing the point. Can someone correct me on this at some point? Like, put again, stick the comments in if you know better. I also agree with this. The timing of this post with the release of tabs feels very much like a low effort ad. This is so wonderful. I'm thrilled. I can take that. Everything is wonderful and beautiful now. That nobody talks like that. Yeah, agreed. I'm sorry, but this is a nonsense. Can you downvote it? Yeah, you can actually. So boom, you get a downvote for being talking rubbish. Yeah, because it sounds like an ad, but the reason it came up the same as yeah, I mean this is probably an advert. Um, yeah, I mean I sort of like agree with this dude right at the top here, Mepster. I have to say I don't see the utility of the document tabs feature. Tabs are no different to entirely separate docs. Agreed. For example, if you print your document, it doesn't actually print all the tabs, just a single tab. WTF, what the fuck? I'm going to swear in this video. Whether it's Friday, I don't know. I don't know what the different acronym. No, it's what the fuck. Similarly, when you scroll through your document, you're always only scrolling in one tab at a time. There's no difference between a tab and a different document. So does it help keep all my related ideas separate yet together any more than a folder full of separate documents? A folder full of separate documents does. Yeah, exactly. I'm not getting it. So in fact, I'm finding it like annoying in a way because it was things that I couldn't do, and I'm gonna, yeah, maybe I'll even jump across to this. But I thought, okay, fine. For example, I had this tab here, and I had this section, this daily desk, and for example, like I did remove from outline, right? Now, tell me a way of getting this back into the outline. So, like, is there an add to outline or something? Like, so I did remove to outline. And I'm like, well, how do I get this back? Copy. Can I sort of like add something? Add subtab? No, because if I add a subtab, it adds a subtab. So it doesn't add to the outline. So let me delete that. Well, I'm going to hit the undo button because I'm going to have to hit the undo too many times, right? Now I have to go back and show the outline. Now it's gone from the outline because I removed it from the outline, but how do I add something into the outline if I wanted to? Hide outline, no. Is there something? Delete, duplicate, no. I don't want to duplicate, rename, choose emoji, copy link, hide outline, move down, no, move into, move down. No. So none of those options. And the only way that I can get this daily desk back into the outline, as far as I can tell, or maybe I can create a new thing and will it fall into the outline? Test new. There we go. And I'm going to make that now. This was a title, so I'm going to make this a title, and then go back to titles. Now I've got two titles. Yeah, that's the way of getting it back. This is now redundant. Great, fantastic. So now I'd have to like copy this. This is one alternative way of getting a tab back. That seems to, or sorry, getting the outline inside of a tab back. Well, that's rather bloody cumbersome, isn't it? I'm not going to do that. And I did daily desk, and well, that disappeared. Fantastic, even worse. So now I'm going to hit undo loads of times because this feature is annoying. Didn't help me at all. There we go. Right, so that didn't help me. Daily commentary. So I put my daily commentaries in here because I thought that'd be a great idea, because daily commentaries is just a bunch of commentaries for the trading desk. So, you know, there we go. There's my commentaries for the trading desk every day. And I didn't want maybe 1,000 of these things to be popping up in the main heading. So I thought, oh yeah, I'll stick that in there. Maybe that's a good use case. But it's not, in a way, unless I just don't touch this tab. Because like now, when I open it up, I don't see any of the like subheadings anymore. So yeah, I'm not even sure how to move it back. In fact, when I moved all of this daily commentary, I actually cut and pasted the entire page back in. So it's like a document in a document, but I don't think I want a document in a document with my collected ideas necessarily like that. If I wanted to have the daily commentary as a at least if I could have it and I could view all. So is there a way of like viewing all tabs? No. Show ruler, show equation, show printing. There's no way of viewing all tabs. I mean, I can Google it and try and have a look. Is there a way of viewing all tabs? Sort of like, so view, So in here, this is called. In fact, like, I can't even see it down here. Why do I not see that down in here? In fact, I don't even see it there now. Add sub tab, show outline. I do see the show outline. What is this? Oh, here is a show outline. So let me check. Show outline. If I show the outline of one tab, when I go out of that tab, it sort of collapses the outline for me. Show outline. I have to do show outline of the other tab. So yeah, I'm just not. I'm not sold on this so far. Click on that. I have to click on it to get show outline. So it's almost like I have to go to the new document, then do the show outline. But if I muck around with the headings, I wonder, for example, if I did remove. No, because I did this already. Like I did delete here. I think I did. Well, I did. No, I did this cross here to remove from outline. You can't get it back in the outline. And like, if I hit refresh, does it go back into the outline? So yeah, I don't think I want it or like it per se. It's not helpful. So, but let's have a look anyway. So this is remove from outline. So I'm going to do add to outline Google Docs. So add to outline Google Docs. There we go. Add heading to outline Google Docs. So something like this. Let's have a look. Google Docs will automatically add headings to outline, but you can also add them manually. Open a document in Google Docs, tap edit, and then select the text you want to make a heading. Tap format. Okay, tap text style, tap heading style, tap done, and it will be added to the outline. Okay. So if I remove this from the outline and then go here and then go title and then go hit on that title and then go, what was the command here? Tap format, tap text style, tap add heading style, tap text style. Update title to match. No, okay, fine. Open a Google document in the Google Docs, tap edit, select the text you want to make a heading. Okay, tap edit and select the document. Okay, fine. So there we go, edit. No such option in there. That was the edit tab. I just did this, tap edit. See, I did this piece down here, tap edit, and then select the text you want to make a heading, and then tap format. Okay. So the only way is over here, which is format. Right, okay. Paragraph styles. So I'll make that the title. Well, I've already done that, so apply title. Right, so I did that, and then go back here and then do tap text and then style, format text and style. Well, I did that. Okay, so I was here, I did format, I did text, and where's the style? There's no style in here. So again, a little bit nonsensey. Poor instructions. Tap heading style, tap done. Heading will be added to the outline. No, it's not added to the outline. View document outline, summaries, rulers, and non-printing. Why my heading is not showing up in Google Docs outline? Here we go. A soft return happens when you press enter and shift rather than the enter key. Do I have to press the enter key? Will that add that back to the outline? Boom. No, it doesn't. Okay, I'm going to just hit the double undo again. Undo again. There we go. So I've had to hit the undo button to get that to the outline. So I'm still not a fan of this. Let's go back onto here. Similarly, page numbering does not carry over across tabs. Well, maybe you're expecting it to not carry across over tabs. So it's just a separate document. In the document, we already had separate Google Documents. Also, I use the outline sidebar all the time. Well, that's what I do. I guess that's why it's annoying. If a user uses the outline sidebar all the time, and the tabs, which you can't turn off, take up half the width of what is now called tabs and outlines sidebar. Yep, that's for me. So if I use the outline sidebar, which I use all the time, and the reason why is because I want my document to look all like one document, because I'm making a document, that's the whole point of it. I don't want a document in a document. So I'm going to have to sort of like remove this thing. And there's no way of sort of like, I can move this into here, like I can drag it into here, and I can sort of like move columns and things. That looks kind of like convenient. Move up, move into main, move up. Move up, we'll move it up. Move down, we'll move it down. Move into, we'll move it into main. Move out, we'll move it out of the group. So it doesn't do any of the things I want to do, which is, right, and I'll go to the main piece of this, I guess, which is, if I can scroll, no, because I'm only in one document of it now. And then I have to go here and do the show outline, and then go to daily list, and then go to intro, and then go to table of contents. My table of contents is only related to, like, it almost emits the daily commentary now. I wanted the table of contents, so yeah, either one. I don't know. Does a user want kind of like side ideas or extra pieces in a document, so like a document, like a separate document, but in a document? Would I want that? If I did have that, when I did sort of like, if I so like do a refresh of this, let me just try that again. How's it going to open up? Right, it's opened up in the closed state. Great. I don't want it to open up in the closed, so I'm going to have to go show outline every single time. So I don't like this so far. I just don't like it. And this is what I had to do last time, was extract all of the text, X that out, go back into the main tab, go back to the end of the main tab, right, because it's mucked around with my headlines basically, paste all of that in here, go back here and delete this tab now. Boom. I don't want that unless I want to put some ideas or something. Like, this is what I wanted to see, because I've got my table of contents like this now, and that's what I wanted to see, all of the trading comments in the table of contents. Now, you could argue that if this gets too long, make a new tab and sort of like have a. Well, why would I want to have a document in a document? That's the sort of thing that I don't get, because surely I just go to Google Docs and add a new document and have my trading comments document, which is separate to this document, and that's it basically. So yeah, I'm just trying. I'm trying to get an idea of why. Okay, also, but anyway, as this user have said here, so MEP started 7 months ago. If you use the outline sidebar all the time, that's going to be a real headache for you, and the tabs, which you can't turn off, take up half the width of what you, and it does do, by the way, right? This thing here that I don't like, it takes up a massive block of stuff, so I just want to see the outline anyway, so there we go. That's always there. By the way, when I do a refresh on this now, with the tabs, I believe, hopefully, I get to see the outline, because there's only one tab. So when there's only one tab, I get to see the outlines. So the minute I add another tab, it kind of screws up the outline. Now, when you're making a bigger document, and I've got some, because I wrote a couple of books in Python, I wonder if you can actually see the book in here at all. Python programming, no, consulting, database, finance, trading. You can't actually see the original, but I was going to sort of go to Python programming, home, modules, links, YouTube courses. I should actually put a link to the actual book. I guess the reason why I don't have, here you go, Python, but that's actually just the book itself. Oh, by the way, while I'm here, you might as well go and buy the book. There you go get the link and buy the book. But that's not the purpose of this. there is a book in here, but the book, which is written in Google Docs actually, which is the whole point of this, the book relates, has all of the outlines already in there and so forth. So again, it uses no tabs. It was written before the tabs was actually done, but the tabs would have been very, very cumbersome or annoying. And what I would have done is created a folder somewhere, sort of like in my Google Drive, whatever. I've gone to Google Drive and sort of made a folder somewhere and put kind of like put book. There we go. Book and there we go. Started writing it in Word. I think I converted it to a Google Doc. But if I wanted other, another document, like a supporting document, I would have put it into this folder. I wouldn't have put it somewhere else. So I guess that's the key part of this. So, I just gone to new document, right? New Google Doc and added a doc, and then, maybe I'd have a supporting doc that had tabs in it. Maybe that's a use case for the tabs. Where I could put multiple docs in a doc, so I didn't have to have multiple documents open. Possibly, that's the case. Google, please make a way to turn off the document tabs feature. Right, that's me. I think I agree with that one. So let's go back there. Please let the outline sidebar be. This is exactly what I was talking about, actually. So, boom. Thanks for all your work on Google Docs. I use it all day, every day. I completely above comment. Turn off tabs feature. I actually like the fact that one thing that I would have said, like if the tabs kind of like related to the headings and I can sort of like drag and drop the headings, that would actually be useful in some way. Well, like one tab per heading, that would kind of like be nice, and you could sort of like link to tabs or headings or something. Maybe there was a use case in that, not like an isolated idea within it, but like more customizable. So the table of contents, like it'd be great if the tab was some sort of fantastic or dynamic table of contents. Turn off tabs feature. Right, I use the outline sidebar all the time. Oh, I've now called the tabs and outline sidebar. Now I can't read many of my outline headings. It's too narrow. The sidebar was already too narrow, and there's no way to make it wide that it doesn't expand. And turn off. Okay. Outline sidebar. Outline sidebar expandable. What was the other piece? Tabs are no different. You want to print the doc similarly. When you scroll through your document, you're always scrolling in one tab at a time. There's no different. Also, I use the outline sidebar all the time. Okay, now. Right, and so I don't know what let's see what we're calling this. Well, the hide outline. Right, so it's kind of like here I'd go how do I hide outline and then show outline. So I'd want to do, but I don't know if this is kind of like available or whatever. Show outline always. Full. So I guess this tab thing is going to be useful or good for somebody that can't be bothered to make a folder and make a new document. So like, yeah, make a structured folder in some way. It's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's what its use case is for. Almost like if you don't understand the document structure. Now, someone equates it to a spreadsheet. So someone equates it to a spreadsheet with tabs in a tab. So it's kind of like that. And that's got its use cases. But a doc in a doc. Anyway, that's kind of like what it's suggesting it is. Show outline always as a default option for all tabs. There we go. That might be helpful. Then the user can navigate around, possibly in Lync. And also the other thing was, if I can do this, let me just get rid of that. I could, where was it? On here. Right click. No, so it's here. I could remove from outline. I can remove from outline but not add to outline. So users can remove from outline, but not add back into outline. Right? So it's not so convenient at this point in time without doing undo or creating a new section. There we go. So something like this. Let's see what else. Comment. Yeah, maybe someone else has got a comment on this. Right, it's really useful for me. I have one Google Doc for all my college essays, 26 tabs. Without this feature, I'd have 26 separate docs. So it's not just a slight quality of life feature for me, it's a godsend. So again, this user's found a use case for it. I don't want 26 documents in a folder. I've got 26 documents in a single document. I can't 1,000% knock it. It's more a case of understanding its use cases. Do I want this as a separate document, or do I want this as a convenient new tab inside of a document? So like a document in a document. I'm kind of almost thinking though, when I want to share this document, maybe I can just share the tab. Although I wasn't sure that you could share the tab or not. So can you share a tab in a way that is, because there was a share option somewhere. There's a copy link, but that's not the same. If you share just one tab, then users or someone can just see the tab that you shared. Then you can sort of have documents in documents. Possibly I might test that out. I'll test that out with my brother in the US, so I can do that with the old bro in the US. That might be a use case, but again, we just make a folder and put separate documents in them because they are separate ideas. So I don't know. Still don't necessarily see the game, but I mean this one made sense in a way. And someone else put this. That's exactly what I'm using it for. And then again, so here's the a counteraction. So someone supports it over here. Yay, I like it. And another person over here says, nay, I don't like it because I would just use folders. So it's swings and roundabouts. So I don't know. I'm still not sure of everything. So let me just get rid of that. I can share a Google Doc with my friends that has lots of different tabs. I can share a Google Docs with my friends that has lots of different tabs. It takes up less visual space. It saves the hassle of having dozens of documents open. Sometimes I just want to reference other docs without having to open it. I don't have to make folders with documents. I guess this is the saving of it, or at least this is a use case where people who like it because of this. So you've either got basically I should kind of like make a new folder here somewhere, or a new section. I'm actually not going to. Should I do a new Google Doc? Right, some sort of temp doc, tabs. I'll delete this afterwards, possibly. I'll call it tabs document. Tabs underscore, because it just goes into the generic section, and it's just a tab. Like, so the pros and the cons. So the pros was can avoid folders with docs. And the cons is prefer folders with docs. Right. I kind of think this is sort of like the obvious piece of it, really, if that makes sense. There we go. I'll just unpack that. This is a cheap and nasty version. I should have actually made a table. I'm just trying to think. Takes up less visual space. Takes up less visual space, but then is like, it's almost like you've got editing losses in a way, because inside of this tab, well, like if you created a new tab, you haven't got, like, you've got usability impairment, I'm going to call it. So maybe if it's integrated a bit better, maybe that will help. So, but anyway, that was like a pro of it. I don't have to make folders within documents. It's super easy way to categorize things. Also, I don't have documents in a specific. I can also have documents in a specific order, which is great for things like chapters. But no, it's not. That's the thing that I don't like. So this is a pro, funnily enough, which is paste without formatting, documents in a specific order. That's very true, because I can have a tab and then I can have another tab. So sort of like well, it is called tab 2 here, and I'll also like put a little emoji on it. There we go, boom. And then I can have another tab here, which is, I don't know, one of these. And I can sort of like order them around, right, into the orders that I want them. So that's quite nice in that sense. But then it's great for things like chapters. Well, no, it's definitely not. It's poor for things like chapters of books, right? Because if I go back here, so I'm going to just put that in. Right. Because the chapters are exactly treated like separate, the tabs at least, are exactly treated like separate documents. So this is chapter 1, right, which is heading, right? And then I could put chapter 2 in here, right? That's the suggestion. Chapter 2 in here. And that is a heading, right? And some new text, right? This is exactly where I think it fails, or where some people might not like it. Now, if I wanted to do a table of contents, I actually wonder what happens here. So insert, table of contents, let's have a look, see what happens, add headings, fonts, but yeah, there's nothing in here, because it's a separate document. So it's poor for that. It's exactly poor for that. So it's definitely poor. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong on this, right? This would not help me at all, right? It's poor for things like chapters. So let's have have you tried with large documents within each tab? I can have an executive summary, then a high level detail, meeting notes, and I mean it's good for things like this. I think I could see a use case, right? No one is confused and it's well organized, relevant information of one person in each tab and so forth, while able to track and so forth. So you can. I didn't want to create a folder, and I wanted to have some sub documents within inside a document, and they are unrelated in terms of chapter. That's kind of like got a use case. Um, Yeah, but you can't see folders and stuff in Drive, so it's useful. Well, you can see folders and stuff in Drive, so that's not true. I don't like having that many documents. Well, that might be the case. I see that as being true. So this piece here is not true, but this piece here is actually true. So delete that thing here. There we go. Delete that. Right. So that's not true. And this piece here, I love being able to pull all my poems and songs in separate tabs, but together, so I don't need to keep opening up different documents. If you've got like 100 like sub documents, it's a bit of a headache to have them in a folder and have each one as like a sub one. So maybe that's quite a use case. And this goes triple for stuff like novels because nobody's ever making new docs for every individual chapter. You don't make new docs for an individual chapter if you want the chapters to be to go into a table of contents. So no, this one again is like not correct statement for sure, right? No, that's not correct. That like last bit. Um, it's where you want. It seems to be the case that it's where you want. So in this under one of these, oops, I'll have to delete them all with a rubber. There we go. It's where you want a document within a document. That's basically it. Can avoid folders with documents. I think this is the key, right? This is the key pro bold, and that's what it. Or I'm going to just call it the difference, right? So there's going to be users that want to avoid folders within documents, and there will be cases for that. And there's going to be users who prefer this. If you're writing a book or something like that, that's self-contained, you definitely want the chapter headings. Now, I've got chapter 1 here. Here's the way of having chapter 2 and 3 and so forth in a table of contents. Is chapter 2 and chapter 3, right? And then go here, and that's going to be a heading, and that's going to be a heading, and then that is going to be a insert over here. Where is it? Table of contents. Now it sees the table of contents, chapter 1, 2, and 3. That's what you want. This is my table of contents. So if you want to use the table of contents features, it's going to you're going to have to retain it within a specific tab, and then you're actually going to have to be careful, because if you do the show outline, as seen before, if I do remove from outline, that's going to actually remove. I wonder what happens in this case if I change chapter 2 to chapter. I'm just going to call it chapter 4. Right? That did change, so that's a good feature at least. So it's almost like I want a document consistent within itself. I won't go and ever click on remove from outline, because I can't add it back to outline without I don't know, recreating the chapter again or something like that. I can get about that, because I guess I want, again, if I had a chapter 2 and then I called it chapter 2 again, it did actually put it back in the outline. So if I remove this one from the outline, so you can do a little play around with these things, but I can't get this one back into the outline now. But what I could do is I could make another chapter 2 like that and put that back. I presume I'll call it chapter 2A. No, I'll call it chapter 2 still, and I'll put it back in, and then it goes back in. But this one here, so you can see I've got 3 chapter 2s. I've got 3 chapter 2s over here, but only 2 of them up here. Right, there we go. So let's hit the double number. But this one here didn't make it into the outline, so if I delete it, it's there. So I mean, you can do things like that. So I'll have a chat. I can have chapters in. It does have that. But again, when I go to refresh the document or to open a new document again, it's not going to. It's like I have to. It's not going. It's just going to open up the tabs. It's almost like now choose your document. Document 1, document 2, document 3. So instead of going to like Google Docs and then navigating to the folder and selecting the document I want, it's like I will just go straight to so not Google Docs, Google Drive, and selecting the document I want in the correct folder. Here it's just like I'll go to do Google Docs and I've got one document, and that might be having my poems and it will contain all my poems, right? But they are all separate poems with very separate things, and maybe they might have. So I can have 5 different books in here, and each tab is a different book, but it's not one book. So it's more like a living document. I don't like having many docs, yeah, but you can see all the folders and stuff in the drive. I like writing and loving it. Okay, fine, that was just OP. You can drag the width of the sidebar quite a ways to the right to enable longer headings to appear. Okay, fine. Can you? No, you can't. How? There's no way of dragging the width of the sidebar that I see. This? No. Let me hit the undo button on that. No. There's no way. Where's this sidebar that I can drag the width of? Width of the sidebar quite a ways to the right to enable longer headings to appear. I just discovered this recently myself after swearing how useless it seemed. You can drag the width of the sidebar quite a ways to the right. Here's the sidebar. I can't do any dragging of it. There's no dragging or anything. So no, I'm not sure about that. Maybe if I expand, show outline. No, no dragging options here. No, I'm trying to drag it down, or the cursor isn't turning into anything until I get to here. So no, so I'm not sure about that. I'm not sold on that. This seems to be, again, put it in the comments, right? If you think this is correct. I'm calling this incorrect unless I'm absolutely blind. As for tabs, they're proving to be very useful in creating a living document. Funnily enough, right? That's kind of like what I mentioned. You can sort of have a living document where you've kind of like got a whole bunch of documents in documents. So a living document for our organization. It makes it super easy to read and navigate what was originally a 95-page Word document, much more so than a traditional. Well, it's not. It's docs in docs. That's what I'm calling a living document. So it's a document of documents is what this tab is. I think that's probably what it's designed for. So this is kind of like, it's more like I've got a document over here, and then it's almost like I've got a whole bunch of other documents inside my document. Now I'm going to put them like windows of a house almost. There we go. But it's like that. It's like I've got loads of documents ordered. Maybe I get rid of this one. But it's like I've just got a bunch of documents inside of a document. That's what this person's calling a living document. So, yeah, that's what that is. Your point about not being able to print all tabs at once, though, this is one I definitely have to dig into. Not that it ever occurred to me. I guess maybe I would or wouldn't want to. It's multiple docs in a doc. That's what it is. One other trick I just learned after much frustration is that to get styles to work across tabs, you must set your styles first, then add new tabs. If you start a doc, add the tabs you think you want, then start formatting the content in each one of those to carry over to the, well, that's true as well. But again, it's because they're separate documents in a document. So can you clarify how it's different than a traditional table of contents layout? To the sidebar, to me it seems The sidebar functionality is identical, but the different documents in documents. That's what this argument and confusion is. And I think that's what the thing is for me. If you want a table of contents and a single document, you're not using these tabs. And if you want documents within a document, you are using these tabs. That's exactly what it's for. So in my particular case, I am, so let me just go back to the daily desk over here. I am doing something that is actually kind of like a specific document, basically, that's going to have hundreds of these. Now, if this gets too long, I believe that I'm going to move this to a separate document, and I'll call it trading comments. And I don't want it anything to do with the tab. It's almost like it'll pollute my original document. And I would, every time, or at least if I could open the hide outline thing and always have the outlines like in its last state, then that will be a bit more helpful. I would live with the documents in documents, because my main one would always open without all of these, with the outline as its last state. If sort of like a last date was available, then that would be more useful. But that doesn't exist at the moment, so there's that. I can 1000% agree. I've been complaining to Chat and Claude today about this. I can't even download a full document into one PDF. Like, how is this helpful? Again, we're just going to, so it's almost like I'm not doing a U-turn, but like you've got to understand that I guess it has got a use case, which is they're separate documents. You're not expecting to download a full, what we're calling a full document is not a full document, right? It's a full tab would probably download into one PDF. Just like when you print, you're printing a full tab. So these tabs are separate documents. So users, we've all got to get our heads around this. A tab is a separate document. I agree, to me this is a complete useless feature. No, it's not to some. Clearly, that missed on the point it's trying to deliver, or possibly. It's not a useless feature, so disagree with that. But it has missed, so it's almost like completely useless feature. That's not true, because some people clearly find it useful. If you want a document within a document, like multiple documents within a document, it's a useful feature. But it does, this is true, fail to deliver. So we just go on to this one here. There we go. It's not really delivering everything that you might have wanted. It's kind of like light on features, but maybe that gets improved. It's much more than just a fancier version. Entire docs, not just sections of a doc, are in a tab. Exactly. Here's a good summary. This piece here, it takes huge long documents and shows you only the tab you want to see, plus nesting and emojis support. Okay, I'm not sure I care about emojis, but it's a nice feature, I guess. Nesting. If I want loads of docs in a doc, I guess that's where that's where the case is. Do I want nested docs in a doc? Surely now I want folders and subfolders, but you can have nested docs in a doc. And the actual use I'm seeing is that what used to be sections in a doc are now tabs, some a single page, and it's much harder to navigate them. Yeah, I mean it is harder to know, but then you can't confuse sections. So yeah. So now I have a folder with multiple documents, each with multiple tabs, each on a Chrome tab. Finding stuff has become a nightmare. Chrome also has tabs. That's different. Okay. And the tabs are even visual tabs, which makes me not think of them as tabs, but as what? So it's a list of files. So files in a file that are in a folder, what's the point of that? Why not just have a side tab that lists all the files instead? Yeah, wouldn't that make more sense? Okay. Your username is sus for being a Googler. Oops, what happened there? Don't know. Someone's trying to sell me something because I clicked on a link. What was that original person's username? Let's get it up here. No, I don't know. I don't. Oh, here's the original username. Jackson. I don't know if that's correct or not. Let's just go back, see if there's any more in this Reddit feed. I agree. I like to write in my free time, and tabs have made it easier to organise the chapters. What a feature! It's not for chapters, dude. Because now you can't do a table of contents. It's definitely better than just scrolling or making new docs for each chapter. No, it's not. So, okay, you're using it wrongly, according to not just me, every user, and probably Google. The table of contents was all right, but at least the tabs won't affect the structure of each section. Having to flip through multiple open tabs. Yeah, I don't know. It appears as though some people are, well, they're using it differently. It fits their use case, I guess. I'm going to call it the wrong way, but if the wrong way works for you, then fine. Will it cause lag issues? I don't want my computer to lag, honestly. Well, I mean, that I think will be true, possibly. Like if I've got multiple documents open, so I've got this tab and then more tabs open, like tons of documents. Especially the case where somebody said, I write poems and I want all 26 poems open at once in one document, which I can do here with not here, but in the tabs thing that I had. So let me just go back there. And again, now I'm becoming lazy at this because I should go to the but like this piece here with the tabs, he had 26 of them, like 26 poems, right? And he doesn't want to have 26 separate documents open per se. Like, I don't know, some would argue that if I've got a poem, like if I've got 26 separate poems, I've got 26 separate poems, and there should be a folder with 26 separate poems. But this person's saying, so there is a use case for sure. Thanks to everyone who suggested this feature because seriously it's made my study workflow much better. I guess it will be good for things like this, right? If I've got like, I don't know, I do physics, so if I've got like, some sort of physics lab thing or something like that, maybe again, maybe it does relate. I'm going to try and open this in a new document actually. So open a new tab. There we go. And then go to the daily desk and then go over to, so like if these were, maybe I could put my trading comments all in one thing and then I could have them all in one document and it's like my living document, and my living document has like one thing and another. My only bugbear at the moment then seems to be the case of the hide outline or show outline. If I've got multiple different ones, it always opens in the state of a hidden outline. Right, so it's almost like I go into my folder, then I have to pick the document every single time. Whereas so I can't leave a tab kind of like open with this one. So here, if I had, well, it's almost like here we go, like this show outline, right? And when I do a refresh, I lose my outline. And I go show outline. So I'm going to select my tab, whichever one it is, and then go like show outline, assuming there's an outline in there. Well, there is one outline because it's a chapter 2. So I wonder if I could rename. Well, you can rename it, but tabs aren't chapters. I won't get so confused. It's almost like book 1, book 2, notebook 1, notebook 2, something like that. That's what that is. So yeah, I haven't quite. Google Docs just keeps getting better, and I swear I'm not an ad either, just a time poor uni student looking for good. Yeah, okay, possibly, there you go. He's promising not to be a veggies, fruits are yum. Okay, right. I don't know what he is. He's a greenery person. So I haven't quite figured out the purpose of this feature yet. As you stated, it's just a fancier table of contents. It's not a fancier table of contents. It's documents within documents. So another person, but that's why you haven't figured it out, which is automatically created if you don't use tabs and use a heading styles. Yes, correct. Right? This is what a table of contents is with a heading and end. So if you are a person who uses the table of contents, it's different from tabs. And I'm not sure, again, it's for the poem guy or for people like that, multiple tabs at once. Okay, fine. But they're isolated documents, so that's why. Right. This I don't understand. I don't understand how this is at all different from using heading styles. Again, they're documents within documents. So there's a lot of confusion. For example, I've running notes, a running notes doc for all my projects at work. I just separate them by using headings. Yes, correct. If you're writing a book style thing and you want headings, then and I quickly go to the table of contents and navigate the sidebar. How is this any different? Am I missing something? He's the same person as me, right? If you're writing a separate document and you still want to go to your table of contents, or here's my table of contents, I still want to see everything. So here now I can go and refresh my table of contents, and there we go. Although I do have to, I wonder if I remove table from more options. What's more options in here? Just have interest formatting. There we go. Not that bad. It always seems to lose its formatting, but now I can go to every comment. I can at least see in book style. So if I'm creating a document that other people are going to read and they sort of want to see the table of contents, there it is. It's all there. Now I could make a new separate tab that's completely isolated to this, and that will have its own table of contents. So yeah. Then I quickly navigate table of contents sidebar. How's this any different? Right, I can see the point of being able to collect things around a main document. For instance, you may have the actual text in one tab and your random notes in another. Right, so I could have my text in one document and my trading comments in another. That's exactly kind of maybe I'd use it. I've been trying it out, and the only real difference for my use case is that I can collapse the tabs so it's less time scrolling down the table of contents. It's a nice to have, but not critical. Yeah, it's almost like, well, I want a separate document in a document. Treating it like, here we go. This is correct. Big, fat, massive tick on this one. Treating it like a table of contents is not the way. It's not a table of contents. This person's got it. I've had to read docs done that way, and it's awful. So you're writing your document structured in the wrong way if you think that tabs are table of contents. They're completely two different things. They are for things that you would normally have as separate but related documents. Correct. Again, this guy's got it. Serial peril, right? I might upload this one. So again, I think separate but related documents, right? As mentioned, could be for your own notes, correct? For a third tick. Or for lists and links of interests, or for translated versions, or for having one copy of with all the comments and suggestions and another clean copy that's easier to read. But great use cases. I get loads of ticks. This one gets loads of ticks. Looks like you can't do much to the individual tab, like only share some tabs, but hey, right, I like this dude's comments. He's done good comments, so just hit the under on all of those. And this is of the non-use cases, but use cases and non-use cases. There you go, comment. I think that, I kind of agree with that one. Maybe it's a way of combining information. I mean, you could use it for that. Maybe each tab can store a lot more. Maybe each tab can store a lot more than a single document could, but that's not true. It's the same. Maybe it's one step quicker than putting them in a folder. Yeah, that's true. So, this dude has got at least, I'm going to say that the first one is true. The second one is true. And the third bit about putting it in a, the space saving, there's no space gain or loss, but, there's certainly two cases there. So, yeah, that one seems to be the case. I'm a medical student, and if I want to make one entire folder for a given class, it will crash the document. Why is that? If I want to make one entire folder for a given class, it will crash the document. I'm wondering if tabs... I'm not sure why it would crash the document. You just got to make a new folder and put loads of documents in the folder. And I've definitely done that because, I wonder if I've still got it there. Here's a class, Python database statistics, module 1 statistics. There's a bunch of documents in a folder. I can share any one of them. I can share the entire folder. I can share this whole folder. I can share the documents. I can do everything I want. Here's my stats folder. I just opened up in a separate Google Doc on the side. And this is the thing about the tabs, I guess. Is it doing the download? Yeah, here it is. This isn't a tab in a tab. It's a separate Google Doc, and everything's there. And I can sort of go to it, and I've got the table of contents somewhere, and that's descriptive within the table of contents, and I can go and see the standard normal distribution, and it's all there with the mathematics. So everything's there. But this is a standalone document, right? And this one here is another standalone document, which just again launched in a separate Google tab. Hypothesis testing. It's going to download itself. So when you're making separate documents, now I could, I guess, create one document in here, so like a main stats one, and then create a new tab and put hypothesis testing in it, and then create a new tab and put machine learning in it. That's the purpose of this tabs thing. Now, I'm not. If you're a big company, maybe you want to be doing that, but I think there's a certain point where you want to break up your docs. It really seemed to be a great thing for the user that had the poems. But even then, I might have poem 1, poem 2, poem 3, so I'm not sure. I could even argue that one down. So I'm not going to be using tabs for now, I still think. Having said the argument I said, I prefer to have this folder and all of my related stuff in the folder. So if I wanted more docs, I'd have docs. Do I want one doc with subdocs? Maybe. I don't know. It's a use case. I mean, I have a spreadsheet with, here you go, I have a spreadsheet with loads of tabs in the spreadsheet. So, you could say it's equivalent to that in some way. That's slow to upload, or is it loading? So uploaded, it looks like it's done it, yeah. So, brings you back. So, I'm not a fan. Apart from what's already been mentioned, how is it any different from me using headings and just collapsing the sections? It seems like a very marginal gain in that regard. But for me, the biggest loss is that I can't load any Google Docs on a tablet. I can't load any Google Docs on a tablet, which I often use. It's an old tablet. I've never seen that need to update it. But now, because of this age, I can't update links to it. Well, I don't know about that, but I keep finding out farm management games at the expense of compatibility. I'm just not sure about that. Unless it's a Word doc, if there's any way I can save my docs and old format, I'll be happy, but I haven't found that yet. This guy's, again, it feels like a way to bind many docs together in a way that keeps them ordered and confined to one document. That's a very good summary as well. That's what it does. So this bit here, tick. You could accomplish functionality the same by just having a folder with docs, you know. So this guy's nailed it to just having a folder of docs. But this one just makes it so you could do both methods. They're the alternative methods. You've got the red method, the blue method. But it just makes it one bit easier, and that tiny bit makes so much more useful for me. So this guy's saying, you know, these are my two cases. I prefer the red tick. There you go. Right. I'm a user that prefers the blue tick. This user prefers red tick, and he's identified both cases. I don't want a bunch of bookmarks or individual documents with a few words on each page. Yeah, that's true. If I've got a bunch of small docs, it works for a Vines guide. Maybe I want to stick all of my docs in one page. But nor do I want one long doc with everything I try to keep separate. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, he found the use case, so it makes it much easier. So, that. And this highlights the differences and is a good example of when to use and when not to use tabs. There are cases when you want to use tabs. There you go. It's not a godsend, but it's not terrible. Has a tremendous, true, the new feature, tremendous potential. I'm going to say it has tremendous potential. It's not been used, but my mind is blown at how sloppy and lazy Google is at implement. This is actually true, right? I'm going to call it a version 1.0. It's version like 1.0. There's work to be done on this, right? We had the undo, like I removed something and I couldn't add it back. Like, so there's features like that that just, you know, don't seem to work, right? So the ridiculous level of work around necessary to download or print a document is embarrassingly bad. The inclusion of an entire page for each tab header creates a lot of work and always a bunch of paper for documenting. I have little doubt this will improve with time. Yes, because Google does a lot of things very well, but I dare say this wasn't ready for release. A word processor that can't easily print or download with high quality is an absolute. Well, okay, let's not get too aggressive, but fine, you make some good points there. So, yeah, fine, fair enough. Some points taken. A totally big fan too. After ignoring it for like months, I finally decided to play around with it and realised I could store several different drafts of the same story there instead of making multiple docs. Okay. And the cherry on stop, I can still colour code them differently. Right, this dude's found the use case. Nice. Nice use case, I guess. There we go. A nice use case. There we go. Although versioning is done, so maybe I'll take that back. You can have your chapters in one area. No, boo. Character sheets in another. World building, lore, and anything. Okay, fine. Your chapters in one area. Okay, fine. So it's sort of like written the book in one section, which is a file, and then other bits in another section, in another tab, which is effectively two separate Google Docs files, but we put them together. So yeah, I don't know. It's like a half tick. Do you know how to code? Don't know what that's got to do with it. I can write an outline in one tab to explain what goes on in each section. Okay, now you're going a bit overkill here, but fine. And I can copy that content into the new tab, keep version, so it's cool. Okay, fine. I also, at work, I also use Microsoft Office. I keep my daily notes in OneNote, but when I copy and paste that into another Office app, it never seems the same. I can see limitations. Since this would be a pain to manage versioning. Yeah, okay, yep. But whenever I scroll through a tab, it also scrolls into another. Yes, it will do. I hate going back to my original tab. the only way to find it in a completely, yeah, well, that's the disadvantage of it, I guess, or like, they're kind of like all dumped into one document. Like, it looks, and I guess the confusion is that it looks like one document when it's actually multiple documents in the same folder, which is the collection of ideas. Sometimes I'm looking for a way to turn off tabs so I can see the entire document as a linear set of pages. And yes, agreed. Um, that's very true. I would like to see this too. There are cases where the user just does not want tabs and the tab feature is annoying. There are cases where the user does not want tabs. Many cases where the user does not want tabs. I think we agree with that. And hit the comment button. There we go. So that's I've got to the end of this Reddit thing. I wonder if there's any other comments, but I think we've got the handle on it now. New document tabs in Google Docs provides a better way. Updates on the blog. What's changing? We're exciting to introduce tabs. Now you can use YouTube to build content in a way that makes it possible to find quickly. Staying on task. Tabs in different docs. A marketing manager can build a campaign using a different focus tabs, a sales leader, and then a customer. So it's a bigger document. This is what we call a working document. Like when 10 people are working on it, project manager can create a tab with a budget, team manager within each tab. You can also create sub tabs and even more structured. You can add a lot of structure to your document, and everyone could be working on tabs using the end users, why you would use it, structuring documents. So you add structure to your document. That's true because it's putting dots in dots. Users have the option to set an emoji for each tab. Admins, there's no admin control for this feature. End users, for documents containing 2 or more tabs. Any documents having left panel will open up by completely navigate. So you could also share links to specific tabs rather than sharing links to the entire document. I couldn't share links to specific tabs, could I? Not here, but here. Could I sort of like, I guess I can copy link and let's just paste the link in here. I presume we'll go to the tab. See what happens. But it's gone to tab 2, so there we go, and that was my name. It's popped up. I wonder if other users will see the whole document and just go to the tab. But then, I could have done, I guess, if I go like here, go to one of the trading comments and then go, can I create a link? Insert link. That's insert link. So I can't create a link to like a specific page, so that's an advantage. Or can you create a link? Insert. No, I don't want to insert a link. Bookmark, emoji. So there isn't a way of creating like a link to insert link. No. So like right click there. So I don't know necessarily that I can link to a certain like page without telling someone to go to a certain page. I was just wondering if I can also like go. That's insert a link, but not create a link. Copy heading link. There we go. So you can do it. You've got the headings. So I could have done it here. So I can right click and then do copy heading link, right? And so like go and paste this heading link in here, and I presume, but I will do so. Let's see. Yeah, it does. So the tabs doesn't add an advantage there in particular. That's what we said because I can always copy the heading links anyway. But yeah, if I want to put, it's got this case here. We got some like tabs and tabs and like this massive, bigger working document that lots of people work on. So that's. I have a case where like I write a bunch of like documents or letters with my brother, and we put it all in one document, and that would be a good case where you might want to have each one, and you can sort of like organise it. But the reality is that we have to use the headings. So then you've got this nice section of headings, and each heading contains the text that we want to have. So everything's all in one heading again. So we don't use tabs because we don't need to use tabs because headings suffice. Headings sufficed. So still trying to find a way. Like if I wanted to combine all of these into one big master document, that would be a case for it until I get somebody to work on like hypothesis testing. That was part of statistics, like on the radio section. But then it would be isolated. So yeah, that's that. Ability. I think that's pretty much it. Look, if you found this useful, a good description of tabs in Google Docs. So if you found this useful, this tab in Google Docs thing, then put a like, subscribe, follow, all the rest of it. You can even now, boom, there you go. Make a little payment to the bank account. You can do that um, to support this site. That's really it. If you have any comments, then definitely put your comments in there. I think I'm going to like find and delete this document. No, not this one, this tabs document. So I'm going to go to, here you go, here's a little trick on Google. Find it in my drive. I think it's in their current location, it's in my drive. Open it there, close this here, and then I'm just going to go here, and I don't need this document, so move it to the bin. And yeah, that's basically it. So tabs in Google Docs, do use them, do not. The community seems to be partly confused because I guess the information hasn't been disseminated well enough, or partly confused. Some people see it as a use case and some people see it as a bit of a hindrance. But we understand what the differences are, which is that that these tabs are kind of like documents within a document. And the alternative is, or the previous feature, or the known old-fashioned feature or previous way, was to have a folder with separate documents in them. So it's an alternative to having a folder with separate documents in them. That's pretty much it. There's pros and cons to it, and that's going to be the end of the video. Like, follow, and subscribe. I should have said that in the beginning. That's it. Hasta la vista.